Hey guys, this is Hbkgrand from Dark Shinobis. I'm making a video about the Mote Amp, which is a weapon used by the Tenno to kill the Eidolon boss. It's basically used to destroy the Eidolon's shield, so later on that you could take out his health. Now basically to get the Tenno's Mote Amp, you need to finish two quests primarily. The first one would be the personal favorite quest, and at the end of the quest there's an area that will be locked for you in Cetus until you have finished the War Within quest. Now once you're in Cetus, if you press the option button, you're going to go fast travel and you can see console. Here you will be able to get the personal favorite quest. Now once you have finished it, you can walk right behind him and you'll see like a stair right there, and on the map you could see as well there's like a stair going on right there, and you'll see this door right here. So this can only be accessed if you have finished the War Within quest, and after you have come inside here once, you can use the fast travel method to get here right away. And since, like I said, you need the War Within quest, if you see right here, my Warframe will not go inside, so I can't go in with my Warframe. So in order to get in, I need to use my Tenno. Now once you're in here, you're gonna finish the part of the quest where you were unlocking the chest which you were looking for in the personal favorite quest. Now before I get to every other combination type, like I don't have the highest skill yet, but I'm just gonna show you, like, you get, when you skill up, you're gonna get rewards. So rather picking than something else, try to pick the prisms, which are like the kind of like the guns. So there are three types of guns at the moment for the Tenno. So there's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. This is a tier 2 type because I've already built a tier 1. Then there's a scuffle, then there's a brace. Once you have all three parts, I'll show you where to get them. You're gonna make the parts over there in the three more parts required where it says the current build. So once you have the prison, the scuffle, the brace, you can actually make the Mote Amp. Now if you go to the quill standings, you're gonna actually see offerings. These are the first three blueprints that you see is the weapon that I have built. It's just like a simple amp weapon, and this is a tier 1. And I used this to solo the boss, so everybody can have a simple task as much as possible using it. So for the Raplak Prism, you need Cetus Wisps. Now these wisps you can find outside the pond area. I'll share a detailed guide about farming for different types of resources in the future. But the Cetus Wisp is attainable through bounties, of course, and then the second one is you can go into the plains of Eidolon and they will be somewhere rotating around the ponds, so the watery area. The tier of Azurite, you need the Azurite, and then you need the tier of Azurite blueprint from the mining guy to get to make the tier of Azurite. He has the blueprint for it. The Escher Daver, so you need Dever as a resource and the Escher Daver blueprint from the mining guy to do that. For this one, again, you need Cetus. Pyrotic Alloy, you need the Pyrotic Alloy blueprint from the mining guy, and need Pyrol to make the Pyrotic Alloy. The Mercury Liver, you need to get the Mercury Bait basically, and you can drop that during the nighttime and kill them to get the livers from them. Whereas for the brace, basically you need Cetus Wisp again. Fish oil, any fish you farm in the Eidolon, you can turn them as cut baits and it will give you fish oil. And mercury, again, you need to go and get the mercury bait. I'll show you where to get those in a second. So once you have those equipments, you can either buy the standings and build it in the amp assembly part. How to get the standing is, while you can go in by killing the boss first and whatnot, or joining the people, because you will get a default amp, and I'll show you in the ship where you could check out what you have. So once you have the default amp, you have the ability to actually go with the team or whatnot to get the sentient cores and whatnot. So there is a daily limit, so make sure like you're using your daily limit to the fullest potential. That way you're not losing like a lot of grinding time. Now once that is done, I'm gonna fast travel to the old man. Let's go to the fisher first, the fishmonger. So here, when you can also purchase the stuff, like you'll see the stuff over here if you are looking for it, because they change from time to time. So if it's really hard to find some things, you could go there and farm for the if you can't farm it, you can find it over here. And if you go to browse wares, you'll need the mercury blueprint. To make the mercury blueprint, you'll need again the trawlock eyes, so that means you gotta fish the trawlocks. These are in the ocean area. The mortis horn, so these are mortis longfish. These are in the ponds area. Gupulas, these are also in the ocean area. And the fish meat, any fish that you catch, you can cut bait it and you will get fish meat out of it. Basically you need that, and you could use the Piram fishing spear to get the mercury bait, or you could use the Tuklok or the Lanzo. Like, some of them work, some of times they don't work. So, but the Piram does work perfectly fine for me, and they usually spawn a lot during the nighttime. Also, if you haven't gotten the luminous dye, it is important to get that. It literally glows the fishes. So I will share a detailed fishing guide as well, like where to farm which fish, so in order to help you guys out. Make sure when you're leveling up your ostrons, each time you level up, you're gonna get like the farming gear, like the fishing gears, the cutters, and all for the mining purposes. So make sure you're selecting those. Now the second one is basically if you fast travel to Old Man Sumbat, you can also purchase the stuff like Tear of Azurite right there, Escher Daver, or Marquis Veridus, if you are having trouble finding for it. But if you want to grind for it and make it, then you gotta buy the Tear of Azurite blueprint. For that, you need to get Azurite, and then you gotta build it. For the periodic alloy, as I said before, you need the Pyrol, and then you gotta build it. And similar with Escher Daver, you need the Davar to make the Escher Daver. So you gotta buy these blueprints. Similarly, when you're leveling up, you'll be given the options to choose between the no-sum cutters. So you can pick the no-sum cutters. So they're exclusive. Each time you level up, you can get like the fishing equipment and the cutters. So you can pick whichever one. And later on, you can pick the blueprints. So in order to excel faster, you would need those. So these items can all be you can all get all the items from the raw resources from the plains of Eidolon, but this is where you will get the items for the Mote Amp, for the Mote Amp. Now, if you go back to your ship, once you have the regular Mote Amp, it's kind of like a weapon. So basically, you will need to max it out. So you gotta go into a regular mission. I go to Hydron with my friends, and it takes literally like 10 to 15 waves to max it out. So once you're at your ship, you can actually see where it is. And I will explain you why I'm showing this, because once you're at your ship, you come to the Tenno and you're going to customize him. You're going to go all the way to the bottom. So when you come all the way to the bottom, you'll see the amp option right there. So you're going to get the Mote Amp as a default. The amp that you see right here, the second one, that's the tier 1 weapon. So it's basically all those three first components that you saw, and I built those, and this is what I used to solo the Eidolon boss. Now, basically, you'll get an unranked Mote Amp first, so you gotta max it out, and then you could use this to kill the boss to get the shards and whatnot. Once you have enough, you could get these the three components from that. Once you have this, on the right side, if you see, you have the primary, which I kind of do not focus on, but you gotta focus on building your weapon towards the secondary. To trigger it, you gotta press the R3 icon, and you'll see when you see the video, it's kind of like a burst weapon, and it can actually destroy the little sentients and damage the big guy at the same time. So it can help you a lot, and while it's in void mode, it can the critical is like high, like 4%. The recharge rate is fast, and you also get basically this extra energy. So I have 140 energy rather than 100, so it kind of like complements each other, and energy per shot is like only 10, so I do a lot of damage for just 10 energy. And basically it doesn't take that very long to kill the boss with just the tier 1 weapon. As you increase the tier 2 weapons, you can almost like it's to the point where you can almost like one shot or two shot the shields for the Eidolon boss. But for starters, this is the way to go. The last thing that you guys need to know about the amp is basically once you have maxed out the amp, the default one or the tier 1, I would just recommend doing it to a tier 1, tier 2 or tier 3, whichever combination that you came up with. Basically once that is maxed out, you can come back to Quill, and over here you're going to press square and you'll see the option, the fourth one, the other services. Now here you'll see 3 options. So the guild option is basically you get to name your own amp, and it actually puts like a forma on the amp as well, which means you basically have to you have to level it up again, how you level up your regular Warframes and weapons after putting a forma on it, and it kind of like enhances the amp's effectiveness, damage and whatnot. And by that, what you can do is like you press the X option, it's gonna cost you about 5,000 standings to do this. Now this is my default one. The other one I have already like gilded it, so it's already on forma, and I need to level it up. But let's say I need to level this up on the default one, it will give me the option to name a weapon. Once I'm done with that, it will put like a forma and unrank the Mote Amp, and then I will have to level it up again to make it strong. So you could do that, you could name whatever you want to your amp, and basically it will be your like unique weapon. If you don't want your Mote Amp or whatnot, like first of all you need available standings in order to donate something. So once you have your available standings, you can donate any of the Mote Amps there. Once you have gilded an amp, and let's say you don't like the name of it, you want to change the name, you can go to pay 15 platinum and you can rechange the name. So that is basically about it. I hope you guys like this video, and if there are any questions you can leave it in the comment below. This is Hbkgrand signing out. Have a good one guys, take it easy.